Hare Krishna, and welcome to all our viewers for our Sunday program. What a week we had. We had the Lord Nityananda Prabhu's appearance and celebrations. They went incredibly well. And today we're going to follow up with that. So we'll be starting very soon with glorifying Srila Prabhupada by offering an arati to him. Followed shortly after that by the Appreciating Srila Prabhupada video. After that, we will have bhajans by Sachindanand Prabhu and Damodar Prabhu, bhajan kirtan. That will be followed by Jai Radha singing Jai Radha Madhav, which will lead up to the class by our own Sandipni Prabhu. He was destined to be part of this program last week, but he became ill. And we wanted him to focus on Lord Nityananda. So we hope he does that today to continue the glorification of this wonderful personality, Lord Nityananda. So we're really looking forward to that. That will be followed by the main Arati, Gaura Arati, and Kirtan, then Nasing Arati, and then closing around announcements, and a cake cutting for a special birthday. So over to the temple now for the offering of the Arati, and the Artis will be sung by actually Pranava family singing Arati.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Kandamoy Kravadana Mate Kandamoy Kravadana Rahara Prasade Bhai Devavatori Ajai Rahara Prasade Bhai Devavatori Ajai Krishna Prapti Loya Bhavoite Krishna Prapti Loya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Titete Kori Ho Akya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Titete Kori Akya Arana Kori O Mane Asha Arana Kori O Mane Shri Guru Charane Rati Ise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ise Uttama Gati Japasade Kure Sarva Asha Japasade Kure Sarva Shudana Dilaye Janma Janme Prabhu Se Shudana Dilaye Janma Janme Prabhu Se Divya Gyan Nidya Prakashito Divya Gyan Nidya Prakashito Prema Bhakti Amoye Avidya Vinashayate Prema Bhakti Amoye Avidya Vinashayate Veda Gyaya Hara Charito Veda Gyaya Haracharito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Loke Naam Loke Rajivana. Loke Naam Loke Rajivana. Mahaprabhu Karo Daya Deha More Pada Chaya. Mahaprabhu Karo Daya Deha More Pada Chaya. Jai Bhaya Krishna Tribhuvana. Shila Prabhupada Tita Pavana. Shila Prabhupada Tita Pavana. Shila Gurudev Tita Pavana. Shila Gurudev Tita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Namo Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Asto Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. PVD Founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anta Koti Guru ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanande.
So Hare Krishna, that's a good, wonderful start to this program. Glorifying Srila Prabhupada, by whose mercy we are having such celebrations all over the world. We now go to a video to appreciate Srila Prabhupada, what he's done for us. So if you can play the video, please.
In their main senses, we cannot understand what is Krishna or God, His name, His form, His attributes, His pastimes. We cannot understand by these blunt material senses. Then how it is to be understood? After all, this human life is meant for understanding God. That is the only business of human life. The nature, material nature gives us this opportunity to have this human form of life. The facility of this life, or this form of life, is given to us just to understand God. Other forms of life, cats and dogs, trees, and so many other things. There are 8,400,000 forms of life. So in other forms of life, it is not possible to understand what is God. If we call all the dogs of your country, come here, we shall talk about God. No, there is no possibility of understanding. But in the human form of life, there is possibility. Doesn't matter whether it is in India or America or Australia, any human being, if he tries And if he reads the scriptures, never mind Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad, then he will understand God.
Thank you so much for that. And it's so wonderful to watch Srila Prabhupada in action. And yesterday we were watching a simple video footage of Prabhupada just walking in the streets and sitting on an asana. I think it was in New York, but he was singing one of his songs in the as a soundtrack. But we're just watching video of him just as moving about in this town in America, and then entering a building where there's an asana, so he's sitting there and about to give class. And it was so beautiful to see this beautiful image of Prabhupada, with such confidence and almost a spiritual aristocracy, just oozing out spirituality. And that's just watching him on video. So I'm glad we have introduced this appreciating Prabhupada session in our Sunday program. It really makes you connect with Srila Prabhupada. Okay, we'll go back to the temple now, where Satchidanand Prabhu will do one bhajan kirtan, and that will be followed by another bhajan kirtan by Damodar Prabhu. So if we can arrange that.
Gauranga Gaurite Ave Ulaka Sharira Gauranga Gaurite Ave Ulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Yare Vaveera Hari Hari Bolite Yare Vaveera Ar kave nitai chande karuna hoibe Ar kave nitai chande karuna hoibe Samsaro vasona moro Kare tutsa habe Samsaro vasona moro Kare tutsa habe Vishayocha priya kare Shuddha habe mon Vishayocha priya kare Shuddha habe mon
Thank you, Pujari Dev. Thank you, Pujari Dev. Very nice. The temple room must seem a bit quiet now after the festival. So, it was nice that at least like 2 families were there. Pujari Dev was there, and there was a nice atmosphere there. And this is just for those who maybe missed the events of that day. We had Abhishek in the morning, and then we had the dressing, and then the good preparation. We had a 12 offering, and I hope all of you were able to take part and cook at home and offer your preparations also to our lordships through the Zoom media. And then we had an evening program with some beautiful kirtans. Fantastic. So it was a lovely festival. Thank you. The next version is by Damodar Prabhu. So if you are ready, Damodar Prabhu, unmute yourself.
Hari Bol Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna.
Shri Gurupad ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Sachin Kai Chand ki jai. Bhajahu re man Sinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Bhajahu re man Sinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे, दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे, तर हरे भव सिंधुरे. भजहु रे मन श्रीनंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे. शीतया तप वात परिसण यदि नयामिनी जागिरे विफल से बिनु कृपण दुर्जन विफल से बिनु कृपण दुर्जन चपल सुख लव लागिरे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे ये धन यौवन पुत्र चरी जन एति आछि पर तीरे कमल जल जल जीवन तल मल कमल जल जल जीवन तल मल भजहु हरि पद नीतिरे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास अभिलाष रे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंद रे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंद रे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव गीता गौर हरि बोल गीता गौर हरि बोल 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 और विमानंगे हरि बोल हरि बोल कृष्ण
Hari Bol. Thank you, Damodar Prabhu. Very
Thank you.
sweet. You should have did a bit more Maha Mantra there next time, okay? Do a longer Maha Mantra. Can you hear me? Damodar? He's frozen. Okay, never mind. The deities look beautiful, so night, another wonderful dressing by our Pujari Dev. So thank you very much for that. Damodar, can you hear me now? Yeah. He's back. Yeah, he's back on. So I said, thank you. That was a bit short, so next time we have a bit of a longer.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
I couldn't help wondering, but when I saw, you with the and the big mridanga in the front of the camera, and you sit as a small head.
Yeah, that's why.
I know. I tell you, I was thinking about the big mridanga, about Nityanand Prabhu, the Briyat mridanga. You definitely look like a child behind the mridanga. It's just the unusual way that the camera was sitting in front of the mridanga and you are behind it. So, thank you. We'll carry on now. Jai Radhe, if you unmute yourself.
Hey Krishna.
Pranams. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
Can I just request the hosts? Can you make sure Sandipni has logged in? Because I can't say his name. So please chase him while we're singing Jai Radha Madhav. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Thank you very much, Jai Radha.
Thank you.
Are you still missing our temple?
Very much. Can't even tell it you. So tight.
Well, hopefully in a few months' time, things will return to some sort of normality, and
I hope so.
can allow people back in.
Definitely.
But you know, a few of us are still very busy in the temple with all due precautions, and we're making some. We're continually making changes and improvements to the temple, and hope very soon we'll all be able to come and see all those changes.
Yeah.
And we haven't stopped. You know, we're still pushing for more changes. So
definitely, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So we are waiting. We are ready for our class, and I'm really looking forward to Sandeep Nimpuni, but we're just trying to chase him, see where he is. He hasn't logged in yet. So while we are waiting, just a few words of Nityananda Prabhu. We had despite the lockdown conditions where we are prevented from coming to the temple, we are having many Zoom programs, Zoom satsangs, almost daily. The daily one is Monday to Friday. It's the 7:30 Aarti, followed by some reading. So this last month we're just reading about Nityananda Prabhu from a lovely book called Nityananda Charitamrita. Then on Saturday, unless we are very busy with other activities and bookings, we generally have a book club at 5:30 where we read we do serious study of one of Prabhupada's books. At the moment, we are studying Nectar of Devotion, and that is coming to an end soon. And the next one, which I encourage many of you to please join in, because that's Harinam Chintamani. It's a detailed description of how we should be chanting the Mahamantra without committing aparadhs, nama aparadh. It'll be the 10 nama aparadhs described in detail, and it's a wonderful book. And please encourage all devotees to join. We'll be starting. The announcements will be made on the usual platforms. And now the next festival coming up in a few weeks' time is Gaura Purnim, the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're going to be picking a new book all about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's probably Chaitanya Bhagavat, whatever is available on the electronic platform in PDF form. So we'll be reading from that, and it was a wonderful soaking period to read Nityananda Charitamrita leading up to Nityananda Triyodashi, the appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu. So that was a wonderful soaking period, and we all got into the right frame of mind to celebrate Lord Nityananda's appearance day. It made the whole day so special. And now we want to do the same for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We need to soak in who is his great personality. What's his importance? What are his leelas? So we can really get into the right mood to celebrate Gaura Purnim. And these two personalities are actually sitting on our altar. So many years ago, over 25 years ago, they came. It's almost like they walked all the way from Israel to the UK. It almost feels like that. There's a lovely story behind that, our history. These very merciful lordships, they walked their way all the way to ISKCON Coventry, and I'm sure Sandipani remembers that. Sandipani Muni, so nice to see you. Haribo, so nice to see you. Actually, we really missed you last week. How are you feeling?
I feel much better, thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
What is this, a flu or something? What was it?
I don't know. I think it was just exhaustion.
My goodness.
Yeah, with the kids.
With the children, the children. Okay, well, yeah. I'm glad you're better. And please, honestly, we were all missing you on Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day, because we had some wonderful programs in the past, and I certainly remember, the times when you would be there, and you and Guru Sevak would put on duets, beautiful duets. So anyway, I'm taking up your precious time. Please,
no,
over to you, and make my day.
Okay. So it's so nice to be with everybody in Coventry. I really miss Coventry a lot. It's my home where I grew up, and so many fond memories of playing in the temple when we were really young, waking up for Mangal Arati. In that time, I know it was about 5 o'clock. We used to get to the temple on Saturday morning. It used to be when the temple was just a shell, and we'd warm the mridangas on these gas stoves. Guru Sevak and I, we were like half asleep. We weren't sure. I don't even know if we'd even had a shout. We were just young, but we'd warm the mridangas on the gas stove, and it was freezing. I just always remember it being so cold. And the kirtan that we do on those Saturday mornings, and then it grew Sunday evenings, the big programs. There was nothing lacking in our world. We really didn't need anything else. And Srila Prabhupada, he says the morning program is a complete program. And I really miss the association of devotees coming together, dancing, chanting. I'll just ask everyone, can you hear me okay? You can just let me know in the chat if the sound's coming through clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. And I just want you to just close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And we just meditate on the Lordship, on the lotus feet of the Lordship, Shri Shri Sachinanda Nitai Chand. I remember when we were young, after the Shan Arati, they would, on a Sunday, in fact, we'd just sing the whole Arati, and then when everyone was taking prasad, there'd be a small darshan. You could just go behind the curtains and take a really wonderful, almost felt like a secret darshan. And everyone would be coming quietly, shh, go and sit down, the Lordships, they're about to rest, and they've had their meal. And I'm just remembering that time. So I just want to offer my obeisances to the spiritual master, Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, all the wonderful Vaishnavas, Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa Triyubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Paivacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And as Vedanka was saying, that this week has been the wonderful celebration of Nityanand's appearance day, and to everybody in Coventry, Nityanand Prabhu is very dear, and I know that everybody in Coventry is very dear to Nityanand Prabhu, because without that mercy, we wouldn't be able to go so deep in those festivals. Coventry is such a special place because we are so lucky that every festival we can go so deep in the rus, enjoying the festival, glorifying the Lord, cooking wonderful preparations, bhog for the deities, serving, changing their clothes, wonderful outfits, flower decorations. Everybody becomes so absorbed as if there's no other world. What I want to talk about today is this feeling of prema bhakti that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand spread. I want you to just close your eyes again if you can, and just sit in a position where you can allow yourself to go deeper. Why do we close the eyes? Because we're switching off the distractions of the senses or sense objects, and allow ourselves to go deeper. And as we chant this Mahamantra, I want you to record what you feel. How do you feel inside? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Sandipni, very sorry, but I have a request here from our tech team.
Oh yeah.
He's saying something, when he is singing, something happening with the beginning dropouts.
Okay.
So what he's saying is, can we tell him to enable the original sound, please?
I did. I've just done that now. I forgot to do that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Does that make it? Hare Krishna.
I think that's much better. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Carry on.
That's all right. That's right. We're doing Anartha Nivritti, aren't we, on the sound? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Did that sound come through now?
It was better, but we still felt it was like, fading in and out.
Oh, I'm not sure what it
Yeah,
is. Give me one second.
I wouldn't know.
No
Yet the
worries. We'll try our best. Can you hear me now? Is it clear through as I speak through this?
when you're speaking is fine, and the picture is super clear. It's just sound is doing, waving in and out.
Oh, fine. Okay. All right. We'll try our best.
Yeah.
So I just want you to share now how you feel when you chant. What are the feelings that come through when you chant? When there's a wonderful kirtan, when you are really engrossed in the Mahamantra. How do you feel? You can put it in the chat if you want, or you can unmute yourself. I don't know how you normally do it.
So some people put it on the chat, and some people do like to speak it personally.
Fine. Someone said transcendental. Great. And what emotion do you feel? I know we have emotions, there's emotion and devotion, but what emotion? I really want to capture the emotion that you feel, because emotions are how we live our life. How our emotions, obviously we have thinking, we have feeling, thinking, willing, and they drive the choices that we make, but these emotions play a part of that. So what emotions do you feel? Someone said deep connection, transcendental, wonderful. Happy, sad. How do you feel? Love, fear, guilt. Someone said peace.
For me, it's a spiritual connection with the lordships, and it brings a whole lot of feeling, which is sometimes difficult to describe.
Yeah.
You just
That's
forget
a
the
good point.
outside world. You forget the outside
Yeah,
world.
you forget everything. It's as if nothing else matters. And all those desires that you have just seem to fall away. Any desires that you have for enjoying the senses, suddenly you realize, wow, this Mahamantra is up here, and everything doesn't even feature on the scale. the challenge is, how do we hold on to those? How do we hold on to that? Because none of us are feeling that always, because otherwise we'd be at that pure transcendental stage. Because these desires come into us about whatever these enemies are always attacking us as well. But when we are deeply situated in this Mahamantra, there's a overwhelming feeling of love for the Lordship, for Krishna. And as Vidaranko said, it's hard to be able to describe this feeling, and I know that we all feel it. And this is the mark of a true spiritual practice, that we feel love. If we think about who Krishna is, Krishna means all attractive. And how are you attracted? Through love. If we think about some of the dogma in religion and religious practice, why people go away from religious practices and institutions, why is that? Why do you think people go away from religious practices, institutions? What emotions do they feel? We did this recently at a retreat, this exercise. What do people feel? And why do people go away from any spiritual practice?
Yeah, well, they have expectations from the Lord, and the very word expectation from people or anything, there's disappointment when you don't get what you specifically wanted. And even if it comes a little later, but it has to be timely for some. Whereas the devotees know it, that Lord knows my situation. He knows I'm in this situation, and you surrender to him, saying he'll take care. But the others turn to the Lord saying, I specifically want this. And they even put a condition on, if you don't do that, I'm not going to, believe in you anymore and all that. So that could be one of the reasons.
That's one of the, is a bargaining with the
Yes.
Lord. Okay, Lord, you do this for me, and then if you do this for me, then I'll do this, because they haven't experienced this love. So that's what absolutely, yeah, one thing. And when the gopis were with Krishna, Krishna at one point said to them, they gave everything up, and just they became it's hard for me to even say that they became proud, because that pride isn't real pride, but is described in Bhagavatam, in Krishna book, that they became a little proud because they thought, oh, we're with Krishna, but it's not, we can't equate that to our pride. And then when Krishna went away, they were so angry at Krishna, and they were asking Krishna, who describe love to me, how are you situated? And then Krishna has this exchange with them. And one of the loves that he talks about is this exchange and if you like. You do this for me, and then I'll do that for you. So as the lowest level of devotion. Yep, that's definitely one thing. So we get disappointed with the Lord, that the Lord doesn't give us something. What else? What else? What other emotions can people feel in spiritual practice that maybe that aren't conducive to continuing? Disbelief, someone said. How does anyone ever feel this way? Guilt?
I was going to say your question was people going away.
Yeah, sometimes people go away. Yeah.
And I was thinking disappointment in the behavior of those who they're looking up to. Yeah.
There's a huge church in Australia. It's a really good church, and there's so many people come to it. But the founder himself, there was some fraud involving him. Hillsong, I think it's called, and after a while, the whole community was shook up. But then they realized, wait, that person is separate to my faith in Jesus, and they found. But yeah, absolutely, that happens. Anyone else? So in many cases in religious practices, people don't have a connection. There is the practice of what we have to do. Just do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that, do this. So many rules and regulations without the connection to the Supreme. Somebody said, I feel that people in Kali Yuga want instant results and they don't have strong faith. Yeah, people want instant results. I want it. I can go on my phone. I can get it from Amazon. I can get it immediately. Well, there should be the same thing for spiritual practice. But actually, when we look at and examine our Krishna consciousness and what Srila Prabhupada said, immediately, just like now when we were doing kirtan, immediately there was a connection. Immediately when you chant, when you're in satsang, when you're with devotees, there's this wonderful feeling of connection with the Supreme Lord. And this spiritual feeling, at any time, whenever you're feeling like the faith is waning or whatever it is, come back to this point, come back to this Mahamantra. Never stop chanting, because this is the highest thing. This is higher than of course, like in any relationship of love, there are rules and regulations. You have to follow those rules and regulations. But the rules and regulations are not the definition of the relationship, it's the love. And so this kirtan, this Mahamantra is so important to be absorbed in as much as we can. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand, they were so merciful, and Srila Prabhupada even more merciful, but they would freely distribute this. So even though we're not qualified to chant, is being freely given to us, this Mahamantra. And it's so nice to sing in the mood of the acharyas. So this prayer that we always singing, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, that you are the savior of the most fallen. So Narottam Das Thakur is practically written out how we should pray to the Supreme Lord. That if there's no one more fallen than me, that you are the savior of the most fallen, I am the most fallen. So why are you waiting? Please save me first. My plea is first, because you are there to save the most fallen. And this wonderful prayer as well of Nitai Padakamala, I'm sure we sang it before on Nityanand's appearance day, is so wonderful, because it's creating the right mood for us to pray. This one line has really struck me over this period of COVID. A few people have asked me to do some services whilst people have passed away. And this line here, so if we listen to verse number 3, Ahankara matahoya nitapada poshariya, that being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he's accepting false to be truth. And so for me in life, I'm accepting the material things to be truth. I know that. I'm looking at the material world and I'm thinking, oh, I've got so many desires. I want to achieve this. I want to be this. I want this name. I want this fame. But actually it's all falsehood. And when somebody passes away, you get that Shamshan Vairagya, that burial ground separation to the material world. There's that period of 5-7 days, depending on how close you were to the person, that this world is temporary, this world is material, there's a person who's passed away. I can see it. It's going to happen to me. I need to get my life in order. What am I stressing about? Why am I worrying about all of these things? Then it's like the veil of Maya is lifted for a short period of time, and then very quickly this comes back. The result is that he's accepting false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityanand. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp to the lotus feet of Lord Nityanand. So I'm actually very jealous of those devotees, those pujaris who are serving the Lordship so nicely, because every day they're able to grasp hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityanand. I remember once, maybe I shared this before, there's many of you probably on this call that were on that trip. There's one defining yatra for me when Haridas Prabhu Taji took us to Vrindavan. There was 19 of us, and we went to Vrindavan, and for me it was a defining period of life. I remember I'd left university, I was working at a firm, and in London, and thinking, okay, so I've been brought up a devotee, and now I'm working in the city, and I've got all these material desires and spiritual. What do we do? And I think I feel at the time, Haridas Taji, you could sense this in all of us, and you took us on this trip, and that group there, we all got initiated around the same time as well, and so we went to Vrindavan, and I think we were outside. I think it was Radha Damodar temple, or Radha Madhav temple, and there was one sadhu there who was blind, and you took us to meet him, and he said, okay, come with me to my house. And he was
Radha
starting to
Damodar.
get
Radha
Radha
Damodar
Damodar,
Mandir.
yeah, Radha Damodar Mandir, yeah. And you said, and then he took us to his house, and his house, you go through the gullies. It is, when you go to Vrindavan, normally there's the main path, and then there's the temples which are on those main paths, and then there's smaller roads as well. Sometimes on the rickshaw they'll take you on these small roads, and you can see people living, children small, looking after babies and monkeys. But then there's this whole other set of gullies as well, which you never get to see, but we were lucky we got to see this, where everybody lives, these small huts and houses. So he took us down into his house, and his house was 12 feet by 12 feet, mud hut, nothing. The roof was thatched roof. There's no windows, just a hole there. And 19 of us, some of us inside, some of us outside, looking through the hatch. And he sat there. He was such a jolly sadhu, very jolly. If you saw him, no teeth. And then he started to sing this wonderful prayer, something which I can't remember. But honestly, I remember looking at, I think Guru Seva was there. We're looking at each other, and hairs are standing on edge because it's so beautiful. We think, wow. And then he tells us some story about Krishna, and then he says he's got some prasad there, and he says, please eat this prasad with me. And we said, no, we're going back to the ashram, we're going to eat there. And he said, no, you eat with me. And when he said that, I thought to myself, this person, of course he's a sadhu, but this person, if I just think of him as a person for this moment, has nothing. If you look around, he's nothing. He's blind. He has no material possessions. He's not worried about his clothes. He has absolutely nothing material. But he seems to have everything because he's so happy. He's so engrossed in the mood of Vrindavan in Krishna. He's a pure Krishna Bhakt. And as I look around, there's how many? 19 strangers. Whatever he had there was just that prasad. He gave it away to us. Imagine if 19 people knocked on your door now. What would you do? Would you accept them? Would you say go away? I mean, obviously, because of coronavirus, you'd probably say go away. But how would you receive 19 people? Would you give them everything you have? Would you feed them? Yes, many of us would, because we're devotees. We've been learning that we've gone through some scars to change our mindset. But this person had nothing, and whatever he did have, he was willing to give it away. And when I saw that, it immediately struck me that this person is successful. This definition of success, this person is successful because they are completely reliant on the Supreme Lord. They're completely surrendered. There's no fear, oh, what about for me? Sometimes it happens in the temple when there's Mahaprasad. It's happened. We know we run a temple for a long time. How many people have been upset because and left? This is a true story. People have left because they didn't get a samosa Mahaprasad, or there's fights in so many different places because this person got more of this particular thing. So my conclusion after that day was, wow, this person is, at one point in my life, I hope to be able to give up all these material desires and focus completely on Krishna and not have any worry at all. There's one wonderful pastime, and it's not just our material possessions, but also our thinking, our mindly thinking, our pride, that I have this intelligence as well. So there was a wonderful poet, Keshav Kashmiri, and he was traveling, preaching, not preaching as in preaching Krishna consciousness, but he was speaking from the scriptures, but writing poetry as well. And so he'd go to different places and compete with other poets, other Sanskrit scholars, sorry, I should say. And he had heard of Nimai Pandit, who is our wonderful Nimai. And he thought, well, if I can defeat him, then I will be even greater. And he's just a small boy. I've heard of him. And so in this Leela, as he arrives to meet small Nimai, he thinks, this boy is so easy to defeat. Why is everybody saying so much about? Why are they saying that he's so wonderful? I will easily be able to defeat him. And so I don't know if any of you have you traveled with Guru Maharaj or spiritual master, and how do you feel when you travel with the spiritual master? So you're with your spiritual master. How do you feel at that point? And obviously, when you're with Guru Maharaj, if you ever traveled, I know the senior devotees have done far more than I have, but you feel a bit of fear. Of course, you've got to get things right. But you're wherever Guru Maharaj is standing and preaching, you're behind Guru Maharaj, as in you're hoping that Guru Maharaj, there's some strong points that are made, and afterwards you'll say, oh, Guru Maharaj, that was really nice how you said this. And if anybody challenges Guru Maharaj, then you know that Guru Maharaj is going to defeat them. Or if you see Srila Prabhupada in a video and you think, oh, wow, yeah, I saw that. That was good. And so naturally, Nimai's got all of his friends around him, and they're all Nimai, and not like that exactly. And Keshav Kashmiri, he's got his entourage, and they're thinking, well, Keshav Kashmiri, he's just going to beat this boy, no problem. And so Nimai says to Keshav Kashmiri that you please start. You please first glorify, and there's Gangaji there, and glorify. And so he composes these 100 verses, and Nimai listens, doesn't say much, and listens, and then is able to just repeat the verses back so good, because Keshav Kashmiri says, okay, you now tell me, thinking, what can this boy remember? You now tell me what was good and bad about what I composed. And all he was thinking was, oh, well, I've only done good. And very quickly, Nimai is able to find the fault. So he says, oh, look, here you referred this one point here. The way you referred to Parvati was wrong. You referred to incorrectly. And first of all, Keshav Kashmiri was amazed that Nimai could remember everything, and then found the fault. But the way that look, wonderful picture. The way that Lord Chaitanya Nimai would present these points is that he would, there's a wonderful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes how Nimai would beat everybody. That Sarva Shastra, Sarva Pandit, Para Parajaya, that he would defeat everybody, all the Shastras, all the Pandit, Para Parajaya. But he would do it in such a way that they would be left feeling good. Now, immediately, maybe not. So Keshav Kashmiri, he was so upset. He was really upset because he had a special boon from Mother Saraswati. He was a staunch devotee of Mother Saraswati, who is the goddess of learning. And he felt let down. So this feeling somebody before raised, oh, I have this bargaining mentality with the Lord. Oh, Lord, you do this for me, and then I'll do this for you. And so he prayed and prayed, and he was so upset. And he went back to where he was staying, and he prayed that, Mother Saraswati, why did you let me down today? Why did you let me down? You are practically dancing on my tongue. Every time I speak, it's you. You are guiding me. Why did you let me down? And he had this intense prayerful mindset. And as he was asleep, Mother Saraswati came in his dream. And he said, my dear devotee Keshav Kashmiri, how can you expect me to stand when my Lord is in front of me? And then Keshav Kashmiri woke up, your Lord? Yes, this Nimai, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can I possibly stand up in front of him? And so then he realized his mistake, and he ran to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said to Nimai, he said, please forgive me. I am nothing. I did not realize. My pride got the best of me. And the wonderful thing about the Lord is that Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand, Balaram, Radharani, these wonderful personalities are simply just finding a way for us to come back. They are just They're just finding a way. They're saying, okay, fine, you didn't make it in this yug. Okay, well, we'll send a personality in this yug. In Bhagavatam is described that just like there are bubbles in the ocean, so as the waves roll over, just those bubbles, that's how many incarnations the Lord takes to help us in our Krishna consciousness. And so, like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda comes spreading this mercy, whether we have pride, whether we are lusty, whether we're envious, whether we're jealous, whatever it is, whether we're angry, they will put us in situations to remove these obstacles. So slowly, slowly we become purified. We become purified. And we'll notice this in our own lives. We'll have some desire, we'll think, oh, I want this desire, and the Lord is so merciful. Whatever desire we have, the Lord fulfills that desire. That desire gets fulfilled. But it doesn't get fulfilled in the way that you would like it. So often when that desire gets fulfilled, you think, well, I've got this now. I've got it. But it's not what I expected it to be. Dukkhalyam ashashvatam, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. We get whatever we want, is dukkhalyam ashashvatam, is temporary, ashashvatam, and ultimately dukkhalyam. It gives us, it doesn't fill us up. It leaves us in suffering. I tell my own story. So I got a new car, and I thought, oh, it's a nice car. I loved cars when I was young, and I got a new car and everything, and I was really excited about the car, and it's got so many gadgets, features in it. And then we went. It was Narayani's birthday, so we went somewhere to a devotee's house. They'd made some cake, so we picked it up, a Kadashi cake, and as I got out the car, the children were asleep and they'd fallen asleep. And then the doors locked itself. I left the key in there accidentally. The doors locked and the alarm went off and they could not get out. And they were waking up. It's so loud alarm. And the children were screaming. I thought, right, how do I get them out? Got someone to give me a hammer so I could smash the window to try and open the doors. And anyway, it was a nightmare, 5 minutes. And they were petrified, and I felt so bad. I felt like just smashing that car up. I thought, what a useless car that I couldn't get in. They locked the keys in there and the children were locked in there. And I thought, this is the Kali Mashashadam. I'm saying all this stuff and I'm every time keep falling into this trap of trying to fulfill my desires. And now the children, they will not step foot in that car. They hate it. They said, Papa, we're not going in that car. We're not going in that car. We're not going in your white car. Yeah, so it's for me, this continual thing of desire is going to come up because we are conditioned souls. But the Lord is merciful all the time, removing these obstacles. And we know this story well. There's a wonderful story where, and I think it's in the Kadashi book as well, where Yudhishthira, the Pandavas, are saying to Krishna that, look, Krishna, why is it that you are not favoring your devotees? If you look at your devotees, they're all very poor. Look at us. We've had to struggle so much. And we're right next to you. We're your personal friends. Yet the devotees of Lord Shivji, they seem to be prospering so much. Why is that? And Krishna says, well, Lord Shivji, he is very merciful. Whatever you ask for him, he will give it. And they said, and if you look at Lord Shivji, he's living so simply. He has nothing. And there's two wonderful things, many wonderful things in this story, but two wonderful things that stick out for me. That Yudhishthira said, why is it that your devotees are suffering so much? And Krishna explains, well, when my devotees, they have some material desires, they work so hard to get those things. They work so hard. And they may achieve it, and then I take it away from them. And their friends and family and relatives, I take that away from them as well. And then they work hard again to try and achieve those things. They get it. And they work so hard, and I take that away from them. And then again, they might try again, and I take it away. Until they fed up so much that they can't achieve anything material. And they say, Krishna, please, I'm just so fed up. I don't want anything. I just want you now. That's it. I just want you. And Krishna says, then I give myself to them. And if we look at Lord Shivji as well, if we examine, and there's a nice story about the Goswamis in Vrindavan. If we look at Lord Shivji, we can see that he is living the life of an ascetic. He's so simple. ashes, hardly any clothing, just a simple deerskin clothing, so simple living. Yet if he can afford to give so much wealth to people, if he can give these benedictions to so many people, why is he not interested in them himself? Because he is the greatest devotee of the Lord. If he has this Harinam, what else does he need? The six Goswamis, there's a wonderful book I remember reading a while ago, and I can't remember which Goswami it was, but they had a touchstone, and there's a devotee, that this person who heard about this touchstone. Somebody else was, this poor Brahmin was suffering, and he all the time suffering. And they said to him, go to the Goswami and he will give you a touchstone. He's got a touchstone. So he went there, went to the Goswami, and not said, I've heard that you have this wonderful touchstone that will give me anything. He said, yeah, let me find it. And so he's looking around, looking everywhere. And there's some like things on the floor, picks it up and say, oh, this is a touchstone. Thank you so much. I really was looking for some good fortune in my life. I'm so blessed. Thank you. And then he walks away. Then as he's walking away, he thinks, wait, Goswamiji had this touchstone, but he didn't have it anywhere safe. It wasn't on his altar. It was just in his thing somewhere, just around. He must have something even more powerful than this. If this, he must have something more powerful than this. Maybe he cheated me. So he went back and he said, so Goswami, I think you've cheated me, because this was not, this touchstone wasn't with all of your valuables. You just left it on the floor. There must be something more valuable. And then obviously Goswamiji explains that this Krishna Bhakti, this Radha Krishna Bhakti is the most powerful thing. And so we are so lucky. I feel so lucky that we have this Krishna consciousness. We have this, not just Krishna consciousness, but we have mapped out for us a process of how we can improve our lives, how we can become closer and closer to Krishna. The one downside is for me that I don't take advantage of this enough, that I'm not utilizing this enough. And sadhu sang, satsang coming together gives that opportunity for us to just think, you know what? I'm gonna improve. I'm gonna get better. As we get this sadhu sang, we're reminded, hey, come on, wake up. Jeev jago. I have to wake up from this. I want to change my life. And so what is often quite nice, what I like to do in sessions, is come up with a sankalpa, a promise. Today, what are we going to do from tomorrow? How are we going to improve ourselves? So I want everybody to do this and just get involved. I'm going to put it in here. So you don't have to share, but you can if you want. What thing are we going to do to just improve a little bit more? I am going to try, I feel inspired by all of you, that tomorrow I'm going to do 16 rounds first thing. Okay, that's it. Now you might say, well, why aren't you doing that already? And you'd be absolutely right to say, why am I not doing it already? But I'm going to do that first thing. I'm really going to try tomorrow. I'm going to try. Anybody else? What's your thing? What are you going to do tomorrow? Try to chant attentively. Try and wake up early. Love Krishna more. That's a nice one. That's good. So I did a retreat for children last week, 16-year-olds. There were 15, 16-year-olds. And I didn't know what to expect. They were some of them go to the Avanti schools. And then I asked them, what do you want from life? Where are you now? And so many of them, so young, this innocence. And they said, I just want to love Krishna more. I asked them, how did you feel in the kirtan? I felt like Krishna was giving me a hug. And I just loved it because it was all about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Anyone else? Great. Read from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam. Not to be inattentive. Has anyone got any questions about anything?
Sandipni Prabhu,
Yep.
just 2 points. Because you picked up the guitar, I think somebody's already told you, we can barely hear it when you're
Okay,
singing.
fine.
So that may help.
I'm gonna put it. That's why I thought I'll put it here.
But I would love you to share one story, because when you said it first, it's been imprinted in my head, in my memory. When you first went to Ekachakra, and you went as an ISKCON devotee, you said Hari Bol, and there was a reaction. Can you describe that place?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it might have been the same trip or a different trip, but when we went there, and it's funny. I don't know how to feel about the temples that are growing there. It's this weird feeling. I don't know if anyone feels the same, but when you see, oh, there's an Ekachakra temple, you feel joyful. But there's a part of me that also feels sad. I might be totally wrong in that feeling. So please correct me if you
Not
think
the only
I'm
one.
wrong.
Not the
But
only
yeah,
one.
because there was an innocence there of the village,
Simplicity.
and yeah, simplicity. When we went there was a small temple, and we had prasad. And honestly, I don't like paneer, but the paneer that they made there was from the local cows. It was so beautiful. There was a smell. You could smell the fields. Obviously, there was the cow dung. You could smell that as well. But it was so nice and romantic. In fact, the road was so bumpy. Our truck got stuck. We couldn't. We had to push it out. I remember. And as we were walking through the village, we're so happy and excited because we're in Irkutsk, and because Coventry having the lordships decided to come to us there. We all devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand, and so we're saying Hari Bol, Hari Krishna to all these devotees. And this one boy, cowherd boy, and I say boy, he must have been between 16 and 20, that kind of age, strong, walking in the field, and I think he may have even had a plow. And we said, Hari Bol, Hari Krishna, and he looked at us like, how dare you say Hari Bol, Hari Krishna? And then the way he said so proudly, so wonderfully, Joy Nitai, like that. And then that was it. From that day on, we would, whenever in Ekachakra, we would say Joy Nitai, and of course on the festival day as well. Any got any questions or anything? Otherwise, I'll just end with 5 minutes of kirtan.
I think they're all satisfied.
Or any comments, any corrections, please let me know. So, can you hear the guitar now? Is it any better?
No, I can't hear it.
Can't hear Prabhuji.
Can't hear it. Okay. This microphone
Yeah.
is a very good
You know,
one.
this
because
microphone, can you put it on Omni, rather than
Yeah.
direction? Because that's
Yeah,
what happened.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
The mic
Can you?
itself.
Yeah, this mic is a. I use it for my
Is a
speaking.
condenser.
Yeah, it's not a condenser. So I'm gonna just change the mic. I'll be 2 minutes. Is that all right? Is everyone
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
if I just wait
Yeah.
2 minutes?
Get Omni.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody has enjoyed Sandeep Nemu's session today.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. He has amazing style of coming across, and is very very expert at it, because he does many presentations, and as we just heard, the latest one was to a group of children, our ISKCON children. So he's very experienced, and at the upper end, he does loads of professional presentations to, the senior managers of banking groups and financial groups. So we are very, very happy to have him a part of our yatra. Miss him that he's no longer in the yatra, that he's moved to London. But it's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
So tomorrow we'll be reading Chaitanya Bhagavat. So I think Anurag, you should put it on the internet, so we can read from there. So we'll choose the way to begin because there might be a lot of introduction. So we'll start from fairly, just
I'll tell you. Yes. I started reading it recently. I'm on the second volume, so I can tell you.
Yeah.
Where to start.
Yeah, that'd be good. Because we want to finish by, well, not all of it, but whatever, even birth and Bal Leela, when we have Go Purnima, It doesn't have to take sannyas, because he'll be born on Go Purnima, so he'll go, with his childhood pastimes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Okay, it's a bit loud.
Oh, is it? Is it loud? Okay.
We'll try the guitar first.
How about this? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's breaking.
Is it distorting?
Overloading.
Okay, how about now?
A little bit less, more or less.
How's that?
That's better than before. Can you play the guitar? Let's see if he picks it up.
Yeah.
Hope the mic doesn't fall off.
Yeah, I know. It's more standard, isn't it? It's a big mic.
No, still.
Can you hear that?
No, the guitar doesn't. It's crazy. Is there settings there? Like.
Yeah, I can. I'm just going to make it omni now.
No. Better.
Can you hear?
You can't hear the drone. You can hear the picking. So you hear the pick, but you don't hear the drone. Not at all.
I've got all this technology and.
No, we have the same problem.
Yeah. How about now? Is that any better?
No, it's the same. Just sing it as long as you can hear it, because your voice is good enough.
Okay.
All right.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram Hare Hare. So thank you very much for having me. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it's a real pleasure to be a part of the Sunday Coventry Satsang.
Oh, we can hear you, and that was beautiful. To us, it was acapulco, but well, thank you very much for those. That's a wonderful session there, and you know, it just enforces the desire that we can all come together soon.
Yeah.
After
Definitely.
this virus thing is over, and we can have
Mm.
proper kirtans, you know, live with an atmosphere, you know, fantastic.
Yeah.
But still, it was very, very enjoyable, and we hope you can join us again very, very soon. So, Sanjay Prabhu ki jai, Sandeepni Prabhu
Ramaji ki jai.
jai,
Please forgive me as well for any mistakes, offenses as well, please.
jai. I made worse than you, so don't worry. Okay, we can go over to the temple now for the evening aarti, which will be sung. Guru will be sung by Aki and Anirudh, and the main kirtan will be sung by Shravan Prabhu and Shraddha Devi. Hare Krishna.
I'm going to start. Kiba jayo, jayo gora chande, aruti ko shobha, janavi chavane, jagaman lobha, dakhini jai Bame Gadadhara Nikache Advaita Sini Vasa Chakradhara Bashi Achin Gorachan Ratma Singhasane Aruti Karena Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Adi Kori Samara Dhuraya Sanjaya Mukunda Bhasu Goshadigaya Shankha Baje Ghanta Baje Baje Karutala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarashala Shankha Baje Ghanta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shankha Baje Ghanta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shankha Baje Ghanta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol 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 Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadan Ujvala Galodi Shivanamala Kare Dhanabala Shiva Shukhanarado Krimiga Jagadam Bhakti Vinodaditi Gaurara Sampada Gaurangira Roti जगो जन मानो लोभा गौरांगेरा रोतिक शोभा जगो जन मानो लोभा गौरांगेरा रोतिक शोभा जगो जन मानो लोभा निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Satinandana, Jayo Nitachan, Jayo Satinandana, Jayo Nitachan, Jayo Satinandana, Jayo Nitachan, Jayo Satinandana, Jayo Nitachan, Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Jai Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Jayo Nimai Nitai, Jai Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, 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 Kali Yuga Pavan, Jai Gaur Hari, Kali Yuga Pavan, Jai Gaur Hari, Patita Pavan, Jai Gaur Hari, Patita Pavan, Jai Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी
नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें जगन्नाथ स्वामी
नयन पथगामी
नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो श्याम सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ
जय जगन्नाथ प्यारे श्याम सुंदर जयो जगन्नाथ
जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ प्यारे जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो श्याम
सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ
जयो बलदेव जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलदेव जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलदेव
जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलदेव जयो सुभद्रा
जयो बलदेव जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलभद्रा जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलदेव जयो सुभद्रा जयो बलभद्रा जयो सुभद्रा जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन
जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन जयो सुदर्शन
जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो श्याम सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो श्याम सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ जयो श्याम सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ जयो जगन्नाथ
जयो जगन्नाथ दीन दयालु जयो जगन्नाथ
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरे
कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम
हरे हरे जयो राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जयो राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जयो राधा श्याम Radha Madhusudan Radhe. Jayo Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe. Jai Radha Raman Radha Raman Radhe. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj. Jayo Giriraj. Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj, Jayo Giriraj. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol. Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Vidya Prabhu, I'll pass it over back to you.
Thank you. Gaura Premananda Haribol, Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivajacharya, Ashtotara Shastri Srimad Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Coventry founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sachinandan Nittai Chand Ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Madhav Shri Radha Raman Lal Ki Jai. Shri Madhusudan Shri Manimashi Giriraj Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। नामाचार्यदास ठाकुर की जय। हरि कृष्णा महामंत्र की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। ISKCON Coventry यात्रा की जय। ISKCON वर्ल्ड वाइड यात्रा की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So we'll do Nasingati now. It will be sung by Alok Prabhu. Alok Prabhu, so nice to see you not behind the camera. So I'm glad you go in front of the camera for a change. Thank you. We want to remember His Holiness Sevadak Swami, his care team, and other devotees around the world who are battling COVID. Recently, there's been a few departures. We're going to remember Ken Prabhu, Kachubai, my auntie Javi Bentank, a colleague of Pranava Sridhar, and Kasturi's sister's husband, her brother-in-law, Sardar Kamaldev Singh. Also, devotees who require some help from the lordships is a couple of people we know in Bharat, Mohit Agarwal, Vrindavan, Raj Rishi. My father, who is struggling, recovering from shingles, Prem Manjari, Neela Ben, Shraddha Devi, Vinod Manjari's father, and my relation through marriage to my cousin sister, Gadadhar Prabhu at the manor. I heard that he had a stroke and he's at home now, but he's struggling. So all those people, let the singer there pass, extend his blessings to them all. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasingaya Prajaladadayani Hiranyakasipu Rasana Shivatankanakalaye Ito Nasingo Paeto Nasingo Yato yato yamitato nesingo Vae nesingo hitaye nesingo Nasingo adi sharanam papade Tavakara kamala vare Nakama bhuta singaya Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narirupa Jagadishare Jaya Jagadishare Jaya Jagadishare Keshavadita Narirupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jayo Nasingale Jayo Nasingale Jayo Nasingale Jayo Nasingale Jayo Praladvara Jayo Praladvara Jayo Praladvara Jayo Praladvara Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. In the Singadev ki jai, Bhakti Parag ki jai, Prabhupada Guru Maharaj